Hi, welcome to Bar Cart Bookshelf, a video series about books and the drinks they inspire. My name is Elias, and today we're talking about The Name of All Things by Jenn Lyons. The Name of All Things is book 2 in the Chorus of Dragons series. We were talking about book 1 last week, The Ruin of Kings, and today we are continuing our reread in anticipation of the release of the final volume, The Discord of Gods, next Tuesday, April 26th. So, we'll be looking at book 2 today, book 3 later this week, book 4 on Monday, and then our grand finale, book 5 on Tuesday. Very exciting. So book 2 picks up right where book 1 left off, well, 2 days later, but does this wonderful thing that Lyons does in her work, where we have the interjection of the past and the present, the way that a narrative is being actively told to characters and used as a frame while we build to the grand and present climax. So we get this opportunity to understand our characters a bit better, to understand the journey that has brought them here, while still maintaining the urgency of we only have maybe 1 or 2 days before a grand and calamitous event occurs. It's a really wonderful technique that she uses for establishing character growth and keeping things really exciting while understanding the various ways in which pieces that we maybe didn't understand in book 1 slot together. Lots of wonderful ways where we see that here in book 2. And as you can see from the cover, horses, or specifically firebloods, these sentient people who look like fanged horses, play a prominent role. And as a Kentuckian, I like it when a god king is basically the ultimate horse girl, and has made equine care and science their entire identity, such that it really informs the culture that we see a lot of in this volume here in Jorat, in the western, or excuse me, the eastern side of the continent. Of course, if you remember that we're actually on the southern continent for a lot of our story, then east and west becomes really a matter of what you're looking at on the map. And so I was thinking a lot about Jorat, about the country where we see a lot of the dominion of the empire, where we see a lot of our action, and thinking about the frame narrative of the book, where we're in this snowbound inn. This inn is under attack by an ice dragon, Ianaric, chorus of dragons. So we get another one of our dragons after having seen Shiranikal in book 1. And I wanted to do a drink that sort of married some of those ideas. So without any further ado, why don't we turn to this week's drink, the Blood of Joras, a mocktail inspired by The Name of All Things by Jenn Lyons. So, Blood of Joras. It is a mocktail, and the name is taken from this sort of cultural aspect of Jorat, the country where we're spending a lot of this book, that magic is forbidden in their own culture and in their own country. But if you come from the other side of the continent, like our main character Kirin, or the liberating emperor Atron Kandor, then you're allowed to use magic. You're said to have the blood of Joras. And so it's safe. You're not going to be labeled. Oh, crushed ice on the move. You're not going to be labeled as a witch. So, we're thinking about that, and of course, if we're calling it the blood of Joras, we are going to have little red ingredients in there too. But we're going to start first by filling a highball glass about half of the way full of crushed ice. We want to have enough space that we can build our mocktail in the glass, but not so much that, so you can see we've got a bit of ginger beer here, not so much that we don't have any space left to top our mocktail. So we're going to start with our primary ingredient. Got a cold brew concentrate here. Once the weather starts getting warm, I really love to make my own cold brew. It's just pretty easy. It gives you a lot of control over the intensity of flavor that you want, and is a great way to just enjoy your coffee on warmer days. I use a ratio of about 6 grams of water to 1 gram of coffee for the concentrate, and then of course if you were enjoying that on its own, you would dilute it with water or with milk. Here we'll be diluting it with some of our other ingredients in our mocktail. We're going to get 1.5 ounces of the cold brew there over our crushed ice. Wonderful. And we will seal that just in case of mishaps. Next, got a vanilla syrup. I made this a couple of months ago using the last remnants of a bottle of vanilla extract, and then following the same measures that we use for making simple syrups, so equal parts sugar and water. We're going to get 1/2 ounce of that in there. Get just a lovely vanilla flavor, one of those sort of tropical flavors. As we've said before, the sort of unifying idea of the Chorus of Dragons menu is this blend of the tropical and the bittersweet. So we've got our sort of bitter dark fruit coffee, the tropical vanilla. We've got some hibiscus here in a moment, and those all sort of come together with our ginger beer. So we've got 1.5 ounces of cold brew concentrate, 1/2 ounce of vanilla syrup. Then we're going to top that some with a bit of ginger beer. Wonderful. Let that settle down so it doesn't foam over the top, but we do still want a bit more. Lovely, lovely. And we'll probably want to add just a touch more ice in there. It's really ice according to your eyeball measurements, but it's going to help as we add a little bit more ice to disrupt some of that foam that we get from the ginger beer. Just a little bit more, of the crushed ice. Lovely. And then, as I said, we've got our final ingredient, the hibiscus syrup. I want to save that for last because it's the blood of Joras, and we want that blood to sort of be a prominent part of the visual appeal of our mocktail. So we're going to get 3/4 ounce of the hibiscus syrup, equal parts hibiscus tea and sugar. Really very easy to do, but wonderfully tropical, nice for spring and summer. And we're just going to drizzle that on the top. Now you might want to top with a little more ginger beer. You might want to taste and see. This is a format that, depending on how fond you are of the ginger beer, you can modify a little bit to suit your taste. But ultimately, you end up with a nice banding where we've got the dark coffee and vanilla down below, sort of lightening to the ginger beer, and a bit of pink red on top for that hibiscus blood effect. And then you'll want to get a straw in there. You can maybe stir it if you want to get a little more blending, or enjoy it in the pretty banded form at first before mixing to taste. So I like it to be just a little bit mixed, because then we really get that hibiscus and vanilla and coffee and ginger all working together and doing their lovely blending thing. So there you have it, The Blood of Joras, a mocktail in honor of the name of all things by Jenn Lyons. It's a really refreshing treat for those hot spring and summer mornings, or if you're bound in an icy inn or in the frozen wastes of yore below or above Jorat, you've got a drink to enjoy there. We'll be continuing our reread of the Chorus of Dragons series later this week with Book 3, The Memory of Souls, and then Book 4, The House of Always, and finally The Discord of Gods next Tuesday. Got links down below to purchase today's book, for the Boston Shaker, to get tools, ingredients, the canvas bag that I use for crushing ice, stainless steel straws, things like that. Twitter and Instagram, where there is always a written version of today's recipe. As always, please try the drink. Let me know what you think. I love to hear what you all have to say about the cocktails and the mocktails that we make. If you've read these books, I would really love to hear it because I always enjoy talking about them in greater detail. So, until next time, cheers. It's a good one.